Welcome everybody to our Big Brother rankings after week 2. How y'all feeling?
I'll be honest. I kind of missed a lot of the feeds this week, so I'm just watching based on the show. Um, I think my scores this week are a lot more reflective of how the players are actually playing. I feel like I haven't had them all way overrated, and with the exception of like one or two, really everybody kind of sucks at the game right now.
My
I mean,
ratings
I
all went,
disagree.
but go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say my ratings all went down too, except for a few people who went up. But
I mean, I think mine that went down went like drastically down from where I had them. I'm trying to catch up on feed life because I didn't watch it at all like last week. So I've only up until recently had the perception of them on the episodes and not on the live feed. So I'm trying to catch up on like what's really going on. But I mean, I think we have some potentially really good players in the game. They just have to, they're still kind of figuring it out.
yeah, figuring it out or overplaying, I guess. But well, we shall begin with number 14, who is Brittany.
Ooh.
With a 1.3. I mean, she was in 14th last week, but 14th wasn't last week. And she's down 1.7 points. Meg, you gave her a 0. You don't give her any chance of winning.
I don't think that Brittany has a shot in hell at winning this game, and therefore I'm just not going to rank her anymore.
Wow, can you expand on that, please? Because there seems to be a lot of Britney hate, just in general.
I mean, I think her reaction was a little overdone when she got put on the block next to Frenchie. And again, like I am not watching the feed, so I don't really know how she's acting like on a day-to-day in the house. But I don't know, I just felt like it was like this big overreaction. She took it so personally, so seriously. I mean, it's only the second week. There's so much game that can be played. You could, you know, and Frenchie was such a huge target. She just seemed very concerned. I mean, I guess I don't know what it's like to be on the block in Big Brother, so I'll give her that. But I don't know. She just seemed very like, yeah, got to get the veto. Yeah, I'm going to win. Oh, yeah, no, Brittany's got to stay. And I'm not really into the rapping thing that she's doing. So
I do think that the reaction to being put on the block was genuine, but she's trying to
genuine. I just think it's an overreaction. Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, like, Brittany really is trying to play this loyal, honest game. And when you do that and still get put up on the block, I understand how she can be confused about the whole thing. But she does have to realize, and Kylan told her this, that literally everybody in the house gave Frenchie's name except for her. And I gave her I said, maybe I'll put her down for that, because at this point in the game, you've got to realize who the possible target is, and you just got to roll with that. So, she said while she was crying, this is what you get for being loyal and honest. Well, yeah, because you didn't want to put Frenchie up. And if you're going to be loyal to him, there's a possibility that you take him off the block if you win veto. So you have to go on the block so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And
but she's being loyal to like this team that isn't really, I mean, they don't really have her back from what I can tell. Like she's just like blindly loyal to these people because she got placed with them by a game,
I do think that her emotions I don't think they're overplayed. I think much like Kylan, just when they feel the emotions, they feel them very, very strongly, which brings them to tears or makes them over the top, super excited to win a veto. But I was really happy to see her super excited about trying to win that veto, because that means she's actually here to fight. She's going to go out and try to win every comp that she possibly can. And I'm excited for her to try to do that. She's a really good person in general. And do I think she's going to win? No. But do I want to see her get far and possibly have a chance? Absolutely.
I mean, I don't dislike her. I think she's cute and fun. I don't think she's like this comp beast that she's like making herself out to be, because you haven't won anything, you know?
Well, I'm not
Like,
saying she's going to be a comp beast.
no,
I'm
she's
happy
making
to.
herself out to be a comp beast.
Oh, well, in a game where everybody's talking about throwing competitions, it's nice to see at least one person who's excited to go out and try to
Oh
win.
yeah, she's entertaining. She's a refreshing character on the show. Like, I don't like dislike her. I don't find her obnoxious or anything. I don't really like the rapping, but besides that, like, her personality is fine. I just don't see her having any chance to win. I really don't see her. I mean, possibly making it to jury, but I don't see her going very far. So I'm not really going to give her any rank.
Yeah, the main reason I dropped her down, and one of the reasons I put Sarah Beth up a little more, is because I think Brittany has overtaken the position of the permanent pawn, and she's going to end up finding herself there. She doesn't have the connections that she needs, and ultimately she's going to be put up against whoever the target is for that week. And one of these days she's going to come up against a lot better player than Frenchie, and they're going to talk themselves into staying, and Brittany's going to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're recording this Friday night, and she is up again as a pawn, so she's definitely fallen into that role. I mean, I feel like she gets way too much hate online, but yeah, I have her very low on my chances of winning. She was a 1 for me, so.
I mean, big change for her. Like, she annoyed the crap out of me when I first saw her, and she's really grown on me.
Definitely.
Who's the other nom? Brent?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Brent is our number 13 with a 2.5, down 2 spots, down 2.0. I mean, I think I've talked enough about fucking Brent on my live feeds, but go ahead.
With the slaughterhouse being done, and with these other alliances in the house, such as the cookout and whatever alliances Tiffany has going, Brent is just on the bottom of everything now. And if he doesn't go this week, he's going to be the target next week, and so on and so forth until he's out of the house. So he's stuck in the position of basically having to win every veto or every HOH just to stay in the house. Remember, I guess it was BB12 and BB13, Brendan, how he just had to go on a comp run to stay in the house. That's what Brent is going to have to do.
But if it's anything that has to do with smarts, he ain't winning that competition. So,
I mean, he is highly educated. Okay,
is he?
That's what he says.
In his own mind, and his big ego that has him in trouble.
I have like no thoughts on Brent, to be honest.
Well, the last thing I saw on feeds with Brent is he still thinks his own team hates him. They're just basically playing him, acting like they don't know what's up. And if he doesn't win veto, he's definitely going to have a blind side. Number 12 is Whitney with the 3.5, down 3 spots, down 1.45.
Same predicament. She's just not as disliked as Brent. But when the slaughterhouse was disbanded by Frenchie, she dropped all the way to the bottom. The only reason she's not on the block right now with Brent is because her and Xavier are still relatively close. Although if Brittany does come off the block, I expect to see Whitney sitting next to Brent ultimately.
Or even Brittany and Whitney.
Or yeah.
For me, Whitney finally woke up this week. She has a lot of these players have a thing in common, like Whitney, and I would say Claire, and I would say Azza, where they just don't talk to enough people. And I feel like Whitney's in this predicament. Whitney and Azza need to have a sit-down talk pronto.
Yeah, I mean, I see potential in Whitney, but she has to do more. She has to like branch out and talk to more people and strategize more. But I have her like dead middle because I just don't know how I feel about her at this point.
I mean, one of the things that actually surprised me was her ability to stay calm or put other people at ease in a conversation. Like when she had that discussion with Frenchie, when Frenchie was just losing his mind, although she was obviously frustrated with him, she did a really good job trying to calm this crazy man down. And I think she's got to utilize that a little bit more. But as it stands, she's really got no allies at this point.
What is the hoodie that she wears though? It like comes down to here and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's very like Star Wars, like that.
I was just about to say, yeah, it's like Star Wars.
I mean, aren't you wearing a hoodie with no sleeves? Doesn't that defeat the purpose of wearing
no,
a
because
hoodie?
it covers my torso. It's like a tank top. Her hoodie literally stops right here, but it's got like full sleeves and a hood. It's just weird. It's just.
She gets cold arms.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wear a regular hoodie.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about Whitney either. These are just some of the bottom people this week that haven't really been able to work their way up over this past week. Brittany, Brent, and Whitney. Alyssa is at number 11. She goes up 2 spots finally. She's at a 3.8 only though, and only up 0.3. But I guess she went up for us a little.
She's got to break away from Christian, right? Like it's not going to happen. But she's tied to him. Everybody sees that she's tied to him. And
are they in a showmance now, like officially?
I would say so.
Because the first like live feed that I saw when I came back from vacation was her and Christian having some very intimate sexual conversation. They had to cut the feeds.
I mean, they're together all the time.
I mean, when you look back and think about David Koresh in Waco, he was very personable too, and got all the ladies. So I can kind of see the draw of Christian here. He's obviously not her type, but he's doing something to draw her in. Definitely a cult leader, I'm telling you.
The bad thing about Alyssa with this pairing is she's the one who's being seen as a threat and not Christian. So
that's so weird. Nothing good. I have nothing good to say about her. She's just kind of boring. No real gameplay motivations at all.
She is boring. Her and Christian bond over talking about how pretty they are. That is, their conversations are all shallow. It's all about how they're the prettiest people in the house. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a stretch. I mean, they're pretty people, but not top of my list.
Christian looks different every day. Number 10 is Claire with a 4.6. She drops down 6 spots, down 1.8.
3.6.
4.6.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess I did drop her 2.5 points, but
damn. The only people I see her talk to are Kai and Tiffany. Ever.
Yep. Tiffany's carrying her game, which at this point I don't even know if that's good, but
I mean, there's pros and cons, right? Obviously she's not playing super hard and she's playing follow the leader. But the pro of that is that if things get really messed up, and with the way Tiffany's kind of been overplaying, Tiffany and Kylan are potentially going before Claire. So I could see them.
I have a hard time seeing both of them go before Claire.
I mean, if Tiffany doesn't watch out and keeps doing what she's doing, she's going to get in trouble. People are starting to catch on. So, I mean, like I said, pros and cons, she could definitely be doing a little bit more, but the fact that she does have people that are bigger targets than her right now, I mean, I got her kind of in the middle, 6.5. She has room to go either up or down for me.
I only gave her a 3.
Yeah. I will say though, like I'm kind of glad that she got cast. Like I get she's kind of boring, but I think the original castee or whatever would have just been a little too much for me to watch on a regular basis. So
yeah, I mean, I like Claire. I think she could be. I mean, she just needs to talk to more people.
She's kind of talking more to Derek X and Hannah. I think she needs to keep talking more to Derek X and Hannah. I think that would maybe be good for her game. But
I think that would be a really strong alliance of 3.
Any other thoughts on Claire?
Do more, just not too much.
Number 9 is Sarah Beth with a 4.8, down 2 spots, down 0.6. If Alex was here, she would have probably been higher. Alex loves Sarah Beth. I think she just watches too much Rob Has a Podcast, so they like to blow smoke off of people's asses like Sarah Beth. But I don't see Sarah Beth as as strong of a contender as everybody else, I guess.
I give her a 6. I think that she's playing a decent game.
I just don't understand her game. If somebody could actually sit down and explain her game to me and it made sense, then I could maybe agree. But I don't get it.
I dropped her for that exact reason because I don't really know what her game is. At the start of the season, it was, I want to play this rat floater game.
She still thinks she's trying to do that. But
yeah, she said, I want to be perceived as somebody who can't win comps. And then in this episode, in the diary room, she said she wanted to prove to her teammates that she could win. Which one are you trying to do? I don't know. And I don't think she knows either. But I do think that she's making a lot of progress on the social front, which means that she's probably going to start getting a lot more information. But as we saw in week 0, week 1, she doesn't really give that information out to anybody in a way that she can use it.
She might get better though. I mean, I feel like she's kind of slowly building up to a good game. I don't know what she's doing, but whatever she's doing, I think is working for her. I think she's in a decent position.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's safe, but my biggest thing, well, not my biggest thing. My biggest thing is I don't know her fucking strategy at all. But my other big thing is her duo with Kyland. That's definitely her number 1. And I don't think she has a number 2. Meanwhile, Kyland has all these things going on and has already said by himself that he wants to take Sarah Beth to jury, but probably cut her sometime around there. So I just feel like, I don't know. I just don't feel like she has as much protection as she thinks she has. She's also at the bottom of the Kings.
It's weird for me because the 2 people that have won competitions, or last week, Sarah Beth winning the wild card and then Xavier winning the HOH, you would think that I would put them higher, but I actually dropped them down because they won those competitions and I just didn't feel like they needed to. So it's, why are you, like, Sarah Beth wouldn't have been on the block, or she wouldn't have gone up if she didn't win that. So what was the point of winning it?
I mean, I guess maybe to keep Frenchie from winning it, but. Well, number 8 is Derek F with a 5.0. He's up 2 spots. He's barely up a 0.15 though. Derek F is the GOAT that you take to the end.
I mean, I get why he was good friends with Frenchie. Like, they really are 2 peas in a pod. He's just not quite as crazy as Frenchie was. But he just, you know, at the beginning, I was like, this dude's going to play a good game. He's going to be smart about it. He's going to be entertaining and crazy. But so far, I'm getting really none of the gameplay and just all the entertainment and crazy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, he's not playing as well as I thought he was going to. But yeah, I think he's the dude that you're going to bring to the end with you. And he's going to be everybody's buddy and not do anything.
I mean, the Hinky votes right now, completely unnecessary.
And they know it's him, so it's just stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, he has a good bond with Kylan and Xavier, which I think one of them would see that they need to drag him to the end to beat him.
I really think that for all 3 of them, honestly, the cookout's going to have to break up. I don't know why I think that is. I think they'll do better, and I think the cookout's going to
see. I don't think so, honestly. For them, I think it's better. Well, I don't know. I can see it both ways, I guess. Xavier is very loyal to the cookout, but I don't know about the other 2. But for Derek F, I just think he's just getting drug along right now, which I guess is fine. I don't know if he has a shot at winning, however.
Do you think he's on the bottom of that alliance?
It's
I don't
between
think
him
it
and
is.
Kylan, wouldn't you think?
I think it's Ozza and Hannah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, awesome.
I mean, the dynamic of that alliance, I'm just really not sure, because they are all branching out into their own little games with different alliances, and it's hard to just, I mean, like you said, are they going to break up or are they not? We just don't really know what the true dynamic of that alliance is right now, and it's kind of confusing.
It's a very
at least for
interesting
me.
dynamic, because I feel like since they're all branched out, they don't have good communication whatsoever. So not everybody's ever on the same page. Some people don't even know things that are really going on. But I think that's also why the alliance works, because
Yeah,
nobody suspects that.
wasn't that the plan though? Like, never be seen with each other, and just, I mean, seconds of conversation if we have to. The basic understanding is we just don't target each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a risk you take when you have like a 5-person plus alliance, is that you could break up easier, quicker than a smaller alliance, because there's more of you going off and doing your own thing. But if they do really have this like unspoken alliance where they're just going to try to keep each other safe and not target each other, they don't really need to be sharing information about like individual games. That kind of thing. They're all still kind of playing on their own, but have this agreement.
Any other thoughts on Derek?
Just, I was hoping for so much better. I really thought there was going to be some type of gameplay that I could get behind with him, and like you said, it's looking like he's the easy win in the final two.
Definitely. Number 7 is Ozza with a 5.8. She's down 5 spots. She's down 1.1.
I love this girl. It's just that she's playing so far under the radar that it's like she's not playing the game at all. I really don't have much to say about her. I hope she can kick it into gear, because she's ultimately going to become a target just for not playing too hard, and I don't want to see her go yet.
I had her pretty high until I started reading some feed stuff and figuring out what was going on, I guess, before nominations tonight. And the fact that she was so quick and willing, I mean, she was begging Xavier to put her on the block instead of Brittany.
What?
And that to me is the stupidest thing that you can ever do in a game. Why would you ever offer for yourself to go up? Especially, look how many other people are in the house, and you are already like throwing yourself into the fire pit for some random person that you feel bad for. This is Big Brother.
She's an emotional player for sure.
Who is she feeling bad
I
about?
feel like I would be an emotional player to an extent too, but that was just way too much. You're literally killing yourself off for Brittany.
I've never understood that. Like Jed, you know.
But I'm going to say this though before we go on with this. I think a part of the reason why she got so mad at Xavier is because Xavier was being a pussy and didn't want to put Whitney and Brent up together like many people were telling him to do. So then she's like, why is everybody so afraid of Brent? Then you might as well just put me up as a pawn. So I mean, she is an emotional player, but she was also half right in her talk with Xavier too.
I mean, I'm guessing that the whole emotional breakdown by Brittany really did a number on her.
I mean, I don't think it did a number. As Derek F explained it, I think it's exhausting to deal with Brittany. They're in the same room with Brittany. They're in the same room with Frenchie. So Derek F told Xavier, why are you doing this to us? We have to deal with Brittany for another week now.
Yeah, I guess I don't. It all makes sense. Like, I don't think you put Brittany up regardless. I think you put Whitney and Brent up. So it's weird that Xavier didn't go that route.
Yeah, but you still throw yourself up there as a replacement with like 11
I agree.
people.
I'm never volunteering myself to go up, ever.
Any other thoughts on Ozza?
Do better.
I mean, yeah, she's definitely one of my favorite people, but as a player, she's lacking right now. Number 6 is Christian, 5.9, down 3 spots, down 0.6.
I want to hate him so bad, but he's really good socially. Like, he can talk to people regardless of what it is. I still feel strongly that he hasn't won any lately, but he can pull a comp win out of his ass when he needs to.
I'd
If
like
I
to
wa-
see what he does without Alyssa there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was actually a Christian fan, I would be saying, "Hey, dude, you need to get away from her." But I don't like him, so stick with her. But for his game, he needs to step away from her and branch out, because he can. He very well can make connections with other people. He's really good at it.
And I feel like he kind of has, because I mean, I think it speaks for itself that Alyssa's the bigger target of that couple.
Mm-hmm.
It's those blue eyes, man. Like, you look into them and you're just like, oh my God, so dreamy. And you don't want to even go anywhere near him, as putting them on the block. You can't do it unless you're Frenchie.
Yeah, I guess. But everybody else is kind of falling for his little whatever it is. Maybe he was a charming one instead of Brent Taste.
I mean, that whole new look he has going with the Raven little buntails. I mean, everybody loved Raven, so maybe they're loving him some Christian too.
I just don't find him very attractive.
I mean, he has like 20 different looks already. None of them are attractive.
No. And I'm not into like man buns, and like it's just not my deal. Sorry, Dave.
One baby man bun.
It's just not my thing. It's a lot of girls' thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I do think Christian has done a great job of laying under the radar after winning so much early on, and now he has a good enough social game to be. If he's not the big target over Alyssa, I do think that's impressive.
I just,
Agreed.
I hate saying it, but he very well could be the dark horse to win this game. Like, his social ability is there, his ability to win comps is there. Let's see if his strategic ability is there, but he has a lot of things going for him, and he could get to the end and win, as much as I don't want to see him do it.
I don't know if he could win. He could final 2, final 3.
I mean, he's set to go far right now since nobody really wants to take a shot at him outside of maybe the Jokers, but they have to win an HOH to do that.
Imagine if he gets put on the block. Like, you just know he is going to go balls to the wall to get himself off of the block, and there's a very good chance that he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, also probably a dark horse, is Hannah with a 6.1. She's in the same place, however, she's down 0.2.
I kind of see her the same as Christian, a hell of a lot smarter than him, not necessarily having enough connections that they need, but they're not really being seen as a target right now, and she could definitely get herself out of a sticky situation if she had to.
I agree. I think she's good where she's at right now, though. She can just keep going this maybe another week or 2.
I think both of them, I think are sure to make the jury. And that's, for both of them, that's where you kick it into another gear and really start making moves in the house. But for now, you're good where you're at. You're not on anybody's radar. You don't have to win any competitions. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do feel like she's on a little more radars than Christian. Like Brittany and Sarah Beth, I think, would try and get her out soon if they could, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like if Hannah, Derek X, and Ozza all make jury, I feel like one of them winning actually goes up really high, because they have these two sides of people doing a whole lot, and then you have them in the middle.
if Derek X, Hannah, and Azza make jury, I think I could see 2 of those getting to the final 2 with Azza being the GOAT, unfortunately.
It's possible. Any other thoughts on Hannah?
I really like her in the diary room. Anybody else? Like, I really like hearing her commentary.
I mean, I like watching her throw shade at everybody to their faces on the feeds.
That too.
So.
I don't have to listen to Frenchie's diary room anymore.
The delusion was real.
Number 4 is the new HOH, Xavier, with a 6.2, up 2 spots, up 0.2. I probably would have had him number 1, my highest rating, if he wouldn't have won HOH, like Day said, but he did, and I really feel like he's already making a mess of it because he wants to try and he's still trying to play it safe like he was doing his game plan before, but now he can't. He has to have blood on his hands either way. So
yeah, I wanted to move him up for, you know, I wanted to get him up there because I do think he's playing a decent game. I just didn't want him to win that HOH, and I think it might actually have been a fluke. That last question.
I think he thought he had it wrong. And
right. So I bumped him down, only bumped him down half a point because he did win HOH, and then he didn't put up Brent and Whitney.
I think we'll move on from this mishap of his nominations.
Not if Brett stays in the game.
But against Brittany, do you think he would?
What do you mean?
If Brent stays in the game?
If Brent stays,
he's going after
trouble.
Xavier.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah, but Brent's going to go home over Brittany.
Well, yeah.
Brent could win.
But I mean,
veto.
if Brent wins veto, then I think it hurts Xavier.
I don't think he's going to win veto.
I mean, I don't think so either. But I'm just saying there's always that chance. And then if he does, he has to put up Whitney, and then he just has even more blood on his hands.
This is one of those scenarios like the first week where we're like, oh, if Derek X gets picked for the veto, oh my God, he did. And then he wins the veto. Oh no, just all chaos ensues. This is kind of the same situation. Like in the back of my mind, although I really hate Brent, I want to see Whitney get picked for veto and then her win it and then take Brent down because that just creates so much chaos in the house. Although, I mean, it would ultimately probably send Brittany home. But, you know, extra drama for us all to watch.
Well, Whitney is now definitely team anti-Brent, so that's not going to happen.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
Brent has to win it himself, basically.
I just don't see that happening.
I can't drop Xavier below a 5.0 because, again, he is the biggest man in the house and somehow not being targeted. He's doing something right.
I still have him high.
I mean, I put him at a 7. It probably would have been lower had I made my rankings after finding out who the nominations were.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like he's still in a good spot, but he definitely would have been a lot better spot had he not won HOH, which I mean, this is why I couldn't put him super high.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's just still trying to play it safe as HOH, I think hurts him even more, but he's certainly a contender. Number 3 is Tiffany with a 6.6, down 2 spots, down 1.7. That's because I gave her a low rating.
I dropped her from 9 to a 7.5. I still love her dearly. I think she is a good game player. I just think she's got herself spread way too thin, and it's gonna bite her.
I just feel like there's this thing with the super fans. First it was Frenchie. He played 90 days in 1 week. And then Claire and Tiffany they weren't even HOH. They were safe for 1 week, and they played they didn't do as bad, but they still played like a half a game in 1 week.
Yeah, it's just too much now.
You know, I know my gameplay on online battle doesn't match with this, but if you put me in the Big Brother house, like, I'm just trying to not do nothing. I'm not trying to do anything. I just want to sit back and not be the target. I don't want to try to control anything. Yeah, I don't either. But
No way would you do that.
I wouldn't want to control anything. Like there's so many things that can go wrong when you have your hands in every little thing. And it seems like a bad idea.
I mean, maybe this is why they don't cast a lot of super fans, because the super fans just come in so ready and excited and think they understand it and they know it, and it's just too much, that they don't end up being that great.
I mean, if you took 16 super fans and put them in the house, that would be awesome to watch, because everybody would be playing 90 days in 1 week.
Yeah, that'd be chaos.
It would be fun chaos.
Yeah, I just couldn't keep her high. If you're aligned with everybody in the house on week 2, I think that is beyond excessive. Because then you have to. I said this on the live feed thing, but you have to just keep up with such a pace now for Tiffany, and probably have a better jury at the end anyway.
Yep, and that's a big thing for me. Like the more people you're attempting to appease, the more likely you're gonna burn the majority of them to get to the end, and it just makes you look bad at
She's
the
not
jury.
playing the long game right now.
Right.
She's not. Yeah, she set her up fine for now. Like she's definitely she's safe for the foreseeable future, probably. But I don't know, because I even feel like she has another Frenchie quality of she's starting to lie just to lie. Because today, before the competition, she told Brittany that her and Brittany are going to target Derek X, but then allegedly in the competition, Derek X and her targeted Brittany. So that now Brittany and Oz are mad at Tiffany. So she's already pissing people off because telling stupid lies. I just don't see how she could just keep doing this.
What was the point, and I'm going back a little bit to this week's episodes, but what was the point of her telling Frenchie, like, why was she voting for Alyssa? What did she get out of that? I know that she was like, oh, so I know if he tells anybody, I know it came from him.
I don't know.
Why did you even agree to do a favorite? With what favorite?
I mean, she initially wanted to keep Frenchie in the house as a possible target in front of her, but once he opened his mouth about saying he knew who the hinky votes were, she just finally said, I'm done with it, which she shouldn't have even got involved with him.
I mean, I feel like she just didn't want to tell him no, but I don't know why.
What was the point of the deal? Is, I guess, I don't understand why any of that even happened. I guess it was I'm just confused.
A lot of overplaying, and she's still my number 1 on my list, but she's no longer 2 points ahead of everybody. She's a half a point ahead of my number 2 and number 3. So I've come back down to reality a bit. Hopefully she does too, and just calms down. She's just playing way too hard right now.
Yeah, she's not even in my top 5, just because I feel like she definitely hurt herself to win the game. Mm-hmm. That's just how I feel. I mean, I feel like there's obviously she still has a chance. She's not Brittany down at 1.3, so she clearly has a chance to win. But I just feel like the combination of she has to play a super hard pace and not have a better jury, that's a hard thing to pull off.
I think for the rest of the week, and possibly the next 2 weeks after, if she stays, is she needs to lay off trying to push targets. She just needs to go with the flow. Oh yeah, definitely right now. But that's kind of what she's been trying to do, is push her agenda, and it's starting to get her in trouble. So just stop pushing, let the cards fall around you, and just go with the flow for a couple weeks and get back off of the radar.
Any final thoughts on Tiffany? Number 2, raising the most. At first, I thought maybe I was rating him too high, but maybe not. Derek X with a 6.8, up 10 spots, up 2.65. Meg's happy. Her pick's looking good. But yeah, I think he's finally learned the game, and he's definitely positioned well, I think.
What's his ranking? What do we have him at?
6.8.
6.8. I think
we're just not giving anybody any credit with these rankings.
Not necessarily. I had him at a 6.5. You guys had him at a 7. I think that's where he is. I don't think he's playing a spectacular super game, but I mean he's playing a good game to have in a good position.
Yeah, I was
playing a great game.
I was worried about him winning that veto, but looking back, I think the target was so embedded on Frenchie that it actually did him good to win the veto, because then you can just say, I'm not using it because I also want Frenchie to go home. So I don't know. I kind of didn't want to see him win it, but I think it actually did him pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was fine for him to win the veto, although he needs to slow down on the veto king thing because you're 2 for 2 now. And like now, I don't think he needs to win that competition again or even play in it unless he needs it.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't he due up for the wild card? Like, isn't he one of the ones that hasn't played yet?
No, he played today and they threw it to
Oh,
Tiffany.
okay. Good. He's in a good spot.
Coming in, I don't know anything about the game, right? So I feel like he's doing a good job really learning and kind of observing what's going on and what's happening around him. I think he's great at figuring out kind of conversations that are going on, who's talking to who, what the plan is, and being able to see like that 2 or 3 steps ahead. Like if I make this move or this move, what happens next? So I think he's in a good spot.
He's one of my favorites right now. He's the only one that I bumped up in the scores. Like you said, he's absorbing everything that people are giving him, learning the game super quickly. But like Meg said, back off of winning the vetoes because you don't really need to at this point. Frenchie's no longer here, so you're not the target. So just kick back, get a tan, work out a little bit, and do nothing. And you should be good until jury.
Me too.
Yeah, but I think what did you say?
I said he's much more attractive than Christian, I think.
He's a good looking dude. I mean that.
I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was going to say.
You're thinking about Derek X now, aren't you?
Meg was apparently. I think I was just going to say that when when the jury comes, I think he needs to start paying more attention to Kyland and Tiffany because they're both just trying to use him.
Are him and Kyland still pretty tight? Like that's a good thing?
Ish.
Ish.
I feel like he's more under Tiffany's thumb than Kyland's. Although most people I think are under Kyland's, which is why that's our number one. But Kyland is number one. He's also up a lot. He's up 7 spots. He's at a 7.0. He's up 2.0. And as much as I find him to be a messy hoe, I think Kyland is currently running the game.
Really?
He has Tiffany figured out. He knows Tiffany's one of the biggest targets. And then Tiffany goes and makes a final 2 with him, even though he knows Tiffany is one of his biggest targets. And I just feel like people listen to him and they don't see him as overplaying like they might see others. Like the quality he has, kind of how you described Rochelle on the other podcast, honestly, in that he's so messy, but it doesn't come back on him. It falls back on him.
I think he played his HOH brilliantly. Like after that messy ass, whatever the hell we watched week 1, he did what he needed to do. Like me and Alex said, like that was the perfect nominations for him. And he didn't have to nominate a third person and it just worked out great. Played it as well as he could.
He would be like, I'm HOH and that comes with power, so I don't need to answer anymore.
I didn't like that.
I mean, but they were all just like, what? Okay. Like, what do I do? I think it was a funny move. And it didn't come back on him, I enjoyed it.
I thought it was going to come back on him. Obviously it didn't, but I thought, even if you're HOH and you have power, discussions with game are give and take. You just can't take everything and give nothing in return because people aren't going to want to tell you anything anymore. So I was telling him. I mean, yeah, it worked out for him. If he gets HOH again, I think he has to be a little bit more giving with information or people they're going to hold it against him. But Nick, you were pretty high on him, was it last week, saying that he has a really good chance to win? And
I think I said if he makes the final two, I think he's getting the vote to win.
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, he's just so likable. Like everybody enjoys being around him. He's a nice guy. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing negative to really say about it.
Mhm.
I mean, my only negative is that he is messy, but so far it just hasn't came back on
He's a
him.
Cancer. What do you expect?
Sure. Well, any final thoughts?
We put a lot of people down this week.
We did.
I
I think it was
did
necessary.
we put them down, or did we just come back to reality and
Yeah, I think we came
give
to
them
reality.
appropriate scores?
Yeah.
It took us a while with Big Brother Canada too. Like everybody was overinflated there for like the first couple weeks, and by the time we got to around middle of the season, it really shaped up, and we really had the order the way that it needed to be, and it shaped out.
I'm trying really hard not to overinflate because I tend to score very high. So I'm really trying to like think about what I'm doing. But I'm as we went through it, I was like, why did I do that? Like, why did I put Xavier at a 7 right now? But I'm catching up with
I mean,
the
I can
feed.
see. I mean, I have
know,
him at a
but
6.
I don't think that he should get a 7 from me.
I mean, it like for me, even the best player this week wasn't above a 7.5. So it's like 7.5 to around a 5.5 was, in good, decent positions to playing really well, and everybody else was just
I
on
have
the
a
floor.
lot of people floating in that like 5 to 6 range where like I'm
Mhm.
not really sure where they're gonna go
Me
yet.
too.
You know?
Yeah.
And that first week, I think, just threw everybody off, including viewers. Like
True.
it was so much, you really have no idea what everybody's trying to do.
And we're comparing everybody to Frenchie's terrible
Exactly.
gameplay, so of course it looks different.
It's still shaping up to be a good season. Honestly, like Nick, I'm surprised you're still doing feed updates and we're still doing a podcast for this. So congratulations to making it to week 2 now. You're doing a great job.
Yes. I mean, I feel like last season we made it to like week.
Yeah, but that's BB Canada.
4 or
That's not
5.
BB US, which.
No, I'm talking BBUS
Yeah, we
22.
finished
We made
BB
it to like week
Canada.
5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't finished watching All Stars.
No, I never will. But I really do feel like our top 6 are the strongest contenders right now. Christian, Hannah, Xavier, Tiffany, Derek X, Kyland. I mean, there's some possible wild cards in the middle, like Sarah Beth and Claire and Ozza, but we'll see.
How are we faring in our rankings compared to the podcast that we don't discuss?
I mean, I don't watch it, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want my mind tainted from their bullshit, so I don't watch it. But I think Alex's grades are tainted from that podcast. But he couldn't do it on time today, so I never got his grades.
His grades are a little wonky, but he does have pretty decent insight on gameplay, because I do think Alex is a pretty good game player. But I think he really hates the people that he hates, and he really loves the people that he loves, and his scores are reflected in that.
Yeah, I was trying to make sure my score wasn't too high on Derek X because I like Derek X a lot. I didn't want my score to be too high, but you guys seem to agree, so I was like, okay, then I guess I'm not
big improvement.
Overdoing it just because I like him.
It's like he was born into the BB house, and we're watching him grow up.
I'm just thoroughly enjoying the ride.
Me too.
I love Derek X. I found my crush this season.
Yeah, I only actually rock with like Derek X and Ozza and Hannah, but that's about it. Everybody else gets on my nerves most of the time.
I feel like that's a good roster for you, though. You have 3 people that don't piss you off yet.
I guess that's true.
And like I said, that would be a really good alliance.
I do think if those 3 make the jury, then one of them has a great shot at winning, because Hannah's very smart, and then Ozza and Derek X are very loyal to each other. Ozza just has to stop being so goddamn emotional. All right, we shall end it there. We will see everybody next week.
Stop my peace sign.